And the McCutcheon case was decided today. Billionaires can now give money to an unlimited number of politicians. Yes, you can buy as many politicians as you want, David Koch. You should be delighted. Or Sean McCutcheon, actually, in this case. You should be delighted. David Cobb, the national spokesperson for Move to Amend, movetoamend.org, is on the line with us. David, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Tom. It's always a pleasure to be on.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. So, first of all, your thoughts on McCutcheon?
Well, first of all, let's just be clear that this is just a continuation of the illegitimate court-created idea that money equals speech. Yes, it makes things worse, but it's not anything that we at Move to Amend did not expect, and it is something that we are going to have to address. And, Tom, I want to take a moment to underscore it simply proves that it is going to take a constitutional amendment to abolish this illegitimate court-created doctrine. Legislation is, yes, we should do it, but we should be under no illusion that we're actually going to be able to take control of our country unless we abolish this idea and rip it up by the roots. Yeah.
Now, and we do that by passing a constitutional amendment that unambiguously says money is not speech, and corporations, be they for-profit or not-for-profit, are not persons. Thus, money has no protection under the First Amendment, and corporations of any form have no protection under the 14th Amendment, correct?
That's exactly right. And, Tom, I want to take this moment in the light of the McCutcheon case, which is a bad case, right? I'm not trying to sidestep that, but I want to contextualize the movement that is growing. You know, in March, just last month, in New Hampshire town hall meetings, Move to Amend passed 48 resolutions of support. Yesterday in Wisconsin, 13 more communities passed resolutions in support, and get this, Tom, in very conservative, Republican-dominated areas in Wisconsin. I'm talking about Waukesha. 69% voted in favor of Move to Amend, and Waukesha is the place where for the last 30 years they have voted for Republican presidential candidates. They have voted for Republican congressional candidates. This is the very heart of Scott Walker's Wisconsin, and we at Move to Amend have found a way to frame this argument in a way that cuts across political ideologies, cuts across issues, and recognizes the agreement that the American people had on the principle this is supposed to be a democratic republic. We, the people, are supposed to be sovereign. We're supposed to rule ourselves, and our Constitution is supposed to protect individual rights, that individual rights cannot be actually violated by the political process, and that's the kicker, Tom. Corporations do not have constitutional rights. They only have privileges under law. That conversation is being had in pool halls, in bowling alleys, in taverns, all across Wisconsin, all across New Hampshire, and soon all across this country.
David, I had Phyllis Schlafly on the program in the previous hour, and I don't know if you're familiar with her work or you've ever read her book, The Supremes?
Yep.
Okay. She's, I asked her thoughts on this. She was not all that up on McCutcheon specifically, but she said she felt that there should be limits on campaign contributions and that it was a reasonable thing. And with regard to the Supreme Court decision, she said that she pointed out that Article 3, Section 2 says that, I've always focused on, that the court shall operate under such regulations as the Congress shall make. But she said it also says with such exceptions. She said Congress could pass a law saying that the Supreme Court may not rule on issues that have to do with money because the word money does not appear in the Supreme Court or in the Constitution. And
here's the thing, Tom. That actually is legally correct. And it underscores this. There is no shortage of tools and mechanisms that could be used in a genuine, robust democracy movement. What you and I know is that corporate charter revocation proceedings could be initiated against all of these corporations that are causing such rapacious harm to the environment or to workers or to public health and public safety. So the point that we make at Move to Amend is we need to build a genuine democracy movement where ordinary people are participating, building independent political power, independent of both the Democratic and Republican Party leadership, and simply demanding that these artificial entities created under law are actually serving the public's interest. So whether it's congressional action, whether it's state action through this chartering process or certificates of authority to do business, there is no shortage of tools that are available if we had a vibrant democracy movement that was coherent, cohesive, and really took itself seriously.
Yeah, there you go. She also pointed out that Abraham Lincoln, when the Dred Scott decision happened, basically said, this decision stinks, and Mr. Scott, you are the property of Mr. Sanford, but that doesn't mean that the northern states that have banned slavery are going to have to unban slavery. I'm not going to apply this to the whole country. And that President Obama could do the same thing right now. He could say, okay, Mr. McCutcheon, you can give money to an unlimited number of people. The Supreme Court just ruled that, but that doesn't mean that anybody else can. David Koch can't. What do you think of that?
Right. And this is the point. Are we taking this movement as seriously as the abolitionists did, as the women's suffrage movement did, as the civil rights movement did? We know, Tom, you know, I know, your listeners and viewers know that the court is wrong on the law, they're wrong on logic, they're on the wrong side of history. But are we merely going to take it, or are we going to do what people before us have done, which is to educate, agitate, and organize? And this is the reason that, you know, Tom, I have the privilege of traveling the country. As you know, I'm on the road about 1/2 to 2/3 of my life. Part of the reason I come on this program so enthusiastic every time we talk is because I'm in another location where I've had yet another meeting with yet another group of people who are ready to take action. And Tom, here's the thing. Almost everybody coming in the Move to Amend are not traditional activists. These are ordinary people who have finally said, ya basta, enough already. This craziness has got to stop. And we're getting people involved in the political process, many of whom who've never done anything other than pull a lever in elections. And so to me, when you make references to the Dred Scott decision and the abolitionist movement and I hear Phyllis Schlafly talking about the first principles of how our constitutional republic are supposed to operate, see, this excites me because these are the conversations that are desperately needed in this country, and what I know is they're starting to happen. And it's just exciting to me. I can't help it. Move to Men is getting larger, stronger, and better organized every day, and we encourage your listeners and your viewers to not just get educated, not just get angry, get involved.
Yeah, and I pitch that almost every single day. I'm so totally with you.
We can always tell, Tom, if we were a corporation, we would owe you dividends on shares.
Well, that's, thank you. And I'm glad it's working. June 26, 1857, President Lincoln, in response to Dred Scott, he said, this same Supreme Court once decided a national bank to be constitutional, but General Jackson, as President of the United States, disregarded that decision and vetoed a bill for a recharter, partly on constitutional grounds, declaring that every public functionary must support the Constitution as he understands it. Abraham Lincoln?
And here's the thing, Tom, I want to really underscore the principle that's at play there, both with Jackson and Lincoln, and was true during the populist uprising, and has been true up until only about the last 60 or 70 years, was a principle that historians call the idea of the sovereignty of the citizens. Who best to protect and to interpret the Constitution? Answer, actually the American people. Right. And that's why what you know, what I know, is that this is a battle over the hearts and minds of the American people. Are we going to be cowed, or do we actually believe in sort of the popular sovereignty of we the people? The only time the court should ever overturn a democratically enacted law, whether I like that law or not, the only time that the court should overturn a law is if a human being's constitutional rights are being violated. And it's very clear that in Citizens United, in the McCutcheon case, it was not a constitutional right being violated. And that's the reason that this movement is growing, is because we're talking to ordinary people in a way that they can understand and inviting them into a movement that they can understand as a pathway to win.